everybody. I'm your host, Vickie Harris, and I am here today with the multi-talented Lulu Roman. Hey, Lulu, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there. Now, Lulu just got done with us in Best Friend's Kitchen, and she was cooking a little treat for her and her fur baby, Benny.
Right.
And Benny got to try that out, so make sure that you check out our cooking segment. Yes, we did, and it wasn't half bad. Yeah, so be sure and check out that part of it. But I'm excited to just sit down with you and talk about, I did research, and I looked you up.
Ancient.
No. Actually, I found out some fun things. I thought, I knew I liked Lulu for a reason. We're both from Texas, from the Dallas area. So,
Texas girls.
Yeah. So we, when we were cooking, we like all the butter and all that kind of stuff.
That's
but
right.
I imagine there's a lot of other things in Texas that, you and I both kind of have in common, that we know that LBJ Freeway, that kind of stuff, stay off of that. Cowboys and all that. Well, anybody that has followed you at all knows you started out on Hee Haw, right? Okay. For those of you that don't know, I just want you to kind of start out here and tell everybody, just say, I know that you were a young little whippersnapper. You were about, 23 or something like that when you started on Hee Haw?
Just turned 21.
Oh my gosh. So just
I'll have to go back and check years.
Yeah, just a young thing.
69, okay, when we started.
So how did you land that gig?
I had a friend, and his name was Buck.
Oh, okay.
And when they asked him if they made a list of all the characters that they wanted, and had one gorgeous blonde and one gorgeous brunette, one boy next door type, one girl next door type, one fat dumb man, one fat dumb woman. But got your girl, she's in there. So they went for it.
Yeah, they got you. You just were in the right place at the right time.
I was.
And had a good connection. And that ran for, my gosh, how many years did Hee Haw run?
It ran for right at 25 years.
Goodness
and this year is 50 years.
50 years of the Hee Haw. And I think it's
I just turned 10.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, forget the 20. It was just 10.
I actually think I had just turned like 21, 22.
That's young to be thrown into something.
23.
So
23? Really?
We have our friends out there in the audience correcting us. Yeah.
I forget. You get to a certain age and you forget.
We're all, once we get to a certain age, I'm always 21. I'll be 21 forever. But that was an awesome show. That was kind of one of those things. Everybody, we're not missing Hee Haw tonight. That was a lot to throw a young girl into, wasn't it?
Well, it was, and the funny thing about it was, I was not into country music. I was a hippie kid.
Oh, okay.
I ran around in water fountains and ate LSD.
Oh,
that's what I did.
Oh, no.
And I just happened to meet a cowboy named Buck.
Yeah.
And we got to be good friends because he kind of had a friendship going with one of my friends.
Ah, okay.
And we're going to leave it there.
Yeah. Okay.
And when they put together the Hee Haw show, they had sent out a call for people who they knew that there were several icons that were working out in Nashville at that point. Bucko and Roy Clark, Archie Campbell.
Yeah.
And they said, here's what we want to do, and here's what we're looking for. And they said, we want to do a country and western type laughing. They said we want boy next door, girl next door, country looking boy, country looking girl, and then one fat dumb man, one fat dumb woman. And Buck said, got your girl, she's in Dallas. We had known each other for probably about maybe 3 or 4 years by then.
Oh, wow.
And, excuse me, he just called me up one night and he said, okay, first of all, sit down and shut up and listen to me. I tell my friends, you think he knew me?
Yeah, everybody knew that.
And I said, okay. And he said, there's a couple of guys up here in LA and they want to do a television show. And he said, Lou's going to be nationwide. And he said, they're going to call it Hee Haw. And I said, he what? And he said, Hee Haw. And I said, he what?
He who?
And he said, Hee Haw, you know, like a donkey. And I was like, okay.
That'll really fly.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't into country music at that time. I was the proverbial hippie kid. I was. Because of my life and where I had come from and what I was trying to work through at that time in my life, I was doing a lot of drugs. I found out that I could get high and get away from the ugliness of what my reality was.
Yeah.
And my reality was, from the time that I was a kid in the first grade, fatty, fatty, through my door, can't get through the kitchen door. To which I have often thought, if I'd been as smart back then as I am now, I would have said, obviously I did.
Yeah, obviously I did. And
but it was
beautiful.
I really believe that it was an ordained,
Yeah.
event. I do.
Right. But I mean, God puts things in our paths that make us
He sure does. And
go the direction He wants us to go, even though we don't want
Buck
to.
called one night and said, okay, they're doing this thing. I want you, the apartment said they're going to call it Hee Haw. I said, Hee what?
Yeah.
Hee Haw. What?
Well, did that, I mean, but you didn't, at what point, because you now, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but you have, you've written books, you can do so many things, you're so multi-talented. Did you know you were that talented then, or were you still just doing what you were doing to get by? You didn't even realize, probably you were just kind of thrown in the middle of it.
I did not.
At what point did you finally say, enough's enough? I mean, you were still, obviously you were still on Hee Haw and everything. At what point did you finally go, you know what, there's more to me than this?
Well, what happened was I had an experience with the Lord. I got saved, is what I did. And I ended up giving my heart to Jesus on April the 11th of 1973.
1973.
And I was deep into drugs. And I was at a point at that time that I stuck needles into my veins. And there's a little, can you see that little X right there?
Yes.
If I pump up for you, you will see it.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
I used to mainline drugs in that big vein there in
goodness.
my hand. God just took it away. That's all I can say.
Wow.
God just took it away. It was a bonus miracle.
Yeah.
I had, one day I was sticking needles in my arm. Hair. If I couldn't get there, I'd go in the back of my leg.
Oh.
Well, I was crazy. A couple of times went my jugular vein, which was really stupid.
Yeah.
But I realized how God watched me through all that and got me through it. And I think that's the thing that changed me the most, is just realizing that God had watched me and not allowed me to kill myself, because I was very stupid.
Right.
But I was stupid behind the pain.
Yeah.
See? And I did not know how to deal with the fact that I was unwanted and unloved. And I was just the girl. In school, I was always the one everybody pointed at.
Yeah.
And made fun of.
Yeah.
And we were looking at my yearbooks I guess a couple months back. It's been probably a year or so now. And I was looking at those pictures and I thought, I wasn't that fat.
Right. And it wasn't.
I was not that bad.
Isn't it amazing?
But I was bigger than everybody else. Everybody else was like a 6 or an 8. I was a 16.
And you didn't fit the mold.
Right.
Right.
And so I was the fat girl.
But don't you wish you knew now what
I knew then.
Yeah, or the vice versa.
Because I'd have been really skilled at raspberries.
Yeah. we look back at it. We all, there's so many of us that feel inadequate. Oh, I wasn't this and I wasn't that.
Some people have big ears or a big nose.
Yeah, or just quiet.
I just had a big me.
And you look back at it though, and you think, I was so ugly when I was a kid, and blah blah blah. And you look back at it and you think, I wasn't that bad. I wasn't that bad. And it's amazing how God opens your eyes and says, you know what? You were okay. You were okay.
You were okay, and I was covering you.
Right. Even when you didn't think you were okay. Right. So did you, okay, that happened in 73. So how did that change what you did? Did it make a difference in how you performed or whatever, because I can imagine you would go in one way before that and work through your script or do whatever you needed to do, but after that, did it change how you worked with everybody and how you got along and how you thought of yourself? And is that at the point where you go, hey?
It certainly changed how I thought about myself.
Yeah. And allowed you to find, because you're so talented, and I'm like,
thank
look
you.
at all the things.
See, I never knew that. I never knew that I could do anything I didn't even start to sing until I gave my heart to Jesus, and that was after 1973. I think it was about 1980 something.
Wow.
When I started to sing. And I was always in concert choir at school. I was always, trying to be in an operetta or a play or something. But I never for a second had an idea that I would be a singer.
Yeah.
And that people would come and say, your voice is my favorite. I have people say that to me, and I'm like, that stuns me. It still does to this day.
Well, you're humble about it. You don't, but you've done how many CDs though? Yeah, you've done quite a few.
27, I think it is.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you hit on a thing that everybody enjoys. They enjoy it.
I'm so thankful. Thank you.
Yeah. I think they like your testimony that goes with it too.
Yes,
it means a lot to have that. And then you have the CD and you can kind of listen and you feel what you're singing, that you know about what you're singing.
And I've always been so expressive. I remember as I was probably 8 years old in the orphans. And this place was massive, okay? There was, on any given day, there was anywhere from 800 to 1,500 kids. And we had a great, huge, massive building that seated at least 800 to 1,000 kids. And there were tables, and they had, and then at one end was one of the house mothers, and the other end was you, as if you were the server. You had to go get things up. It's a big counter where they put all the food out, and you'd come back and serve everybody, And then there would be times when when that was over, you had to go back there, and you were the ones who had to get your head down in those pots and clean them.
Oh my!
They had pots that were this high off of the floor.
Wow.
That we had to climb up on things to get down in with big things to clean up. Because you were feeding mashed potatoes to 1,200 people.
Yeah.
Plus adults.
Wow.
So it was. It was
upsetting, but it's part of who made you. What made you what you are today.
It was surreal, is what it was.
Yeah.
I think about
I can imagine you look back at it and you think, I went through that, and God protected me through that. And
yes, He did. Yes, He did.
You wrote a book.
I did. I wrote.
You've written several, and she actually wrote a cookbook too, which is really kind of cool. Did. So I was like, oh, you wrote a cookbook, but
we got a new book out right now. It's called Hello.
Hello. This is my story.
This is my story. This is my song from the song Blessed Assurance. And I probably have been more open and honest in this book than anything that I've ever done. As far as we can tell, we're getting great reviews.
I think so, because from what I've heard and what I've seen, y'all jet around everywhere. You're from one end of the country and you're over here.
Yeah.
You said you were in Texas, and then you go all the way over here to Florida, and you're doing all this kind of stuff.
Minnesota.
And part of that, though, has to do, are you, while you're touring and everything, we mentioned the Hee Haw, And it's like 50 years now of Hee Haw. And you
See,
said,
I'm in the middle of two different things. We do the Hee Haw tour.
yeah,
Okay.
that's Cornfield Friends.
That's Cornfield
Okay.
Friends. But off to the side, or should I say, Hee Haw's off to the side. I have been going out there for 30 some odd years now, giving my testimony and singing in churches and in, auditoriums and wherever people, ask me to come, I go and sing and God's just been, He's just been awesome.
Just working it as it goes and going around and everything. So that
little girl in that orphan's home feels very loved now. And I thank you all for that, I do. And I want you to know that every time you turn on that television and you put it on Hee Haw, I want you to remember that you gave me my life. You did. And for that I am eternally grateful.
I know. Don't make me cry. We don't cry. I mean, from the minute that I met you, there's some people that, I hear you, I hear what you're saying and everything, but it doesn't hit you. But the first time I met you, you said something and it wasn't a big deal. I mean, it wasn't anything that notably, but it was the way you said it. And you said, I was with somebody that you may or may not even remember. His name's Johnny Moore. And I came up to you, and you were at CMA and everything, and he introduced me and everything. And I said, it's so nice to meet you. And you said, honey, it is so nice to be met. and I mean, yes, you did. And it was, to me, it was like, I'm just so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that you are acknowledging me and everything. And I just was like, oh, I'm important, So you kind of have a way of making somebody feel important, when you're talking to them and everything. And so
I don't want people to feel like I felt for a long time in my life.
Exactly. Where can, you're making me cry now, quit that. Where can, aside from traveling and everything, if they want to know about you, you have a website.
LuluRoman.com.
Okay, and there.
If you want the book, it's LuluRomanBook.com, right?
Oh, okay, very good. So we can actually go and order your book and all that.
And music.
And music, and now we're in Nashville, Tennessee. I know you do a lot around here, but do you play at churches for us that are local?
Yeah,
is there a place we can
ask me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Churches. I want I would love to be able to come and just sit down and hear that full testimony and you sing and everything. I mean, people would be so
That's
blessed.
what I do best, I think.
Yes, yeah. Well, that you found
because I love it, I do.
You found your calling.
Yeah.
But you were awesome on Hee Haw, and it was so much fun to have you with us, and so much fun to cook. And be sure and follow us, Best Friends Kitchen.
Okay.
You'll get to see
Best
Benny,
Friends Kitchen.
the baby,
Yes, Benny the baby.
her sweetheart,
That's right.
and Patreon. You will get to see all of the interviews with everybody if you become a Patreon member.
That's good.
And by doing that, it supports Music City Animal Rescue.
And that's what's important.
And that's what's important, those fur
Take care of those
babies.
babies.
Yes. Thank you again, and we hope everybody will join us again
Thank you.
here. And again, for Best Friends Kitchen. This is Vickie Harris.